Can I get a little bit closer here? Ooh, that was almost too close.
Jeez.
Woo. There we go.
Wow, that's crazy. That went away, huh?
Yep.
So what is that doing?
I'm crazy.
Wow.
Spot.
That's crazy. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It's crazy how much the camera can't feel like how I feel. That blocking just all of a sudden being magically gone is crazy.
What's going on out there at YouTube land? Today we are here with the big man himself, Briancage, owner of the FTW Belt, and that stands for
F the world, to make it PG.
Yeah, we'll put a little beep on that one to make sure that it's YouTube friendly for the creators out there. So we're gonna do some work on him today. Obviously you can see he's a mountain of muscle. You guys have probably seen him on AEW lately. I mean, he's been on all the circuits. Pretty much a bodybuilder too if you look at his build. He's built like somebody who could be an IFBB pro as well.
Hey, I'll take that.
And then he puts his body through the ringer. So, you know, wrestlers are super, super hard on their body. He's had some stem cells recently, so he's got a few things going on. So we're gonna deal some crack like we tend to do on this channel, do some muscle work, and he's really interested in the big old hammer and chisel.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, whoa, what is that about? I've never seen that before, so I'm not sure exactly what exactly does or what it doesn't feel, but I wanted it to happen, so.
So, I mean, the premise of the tools is for horses to adjust because they're so big, and, you know, I think you fit that
oh, perfect.
That narrative.
I love it.
So,
I love it.
Here we go.
My man issues for my shoulders. Everything has gotten better though. I have been, like I said, I got stem cells, been doing therapy. They're both have bad arthritis. The left one's worst. I had 3 partial tears in the right one, the labrum, subscap, and supra. It feels way better now. Like it's still there, but like before I couldn't squat at all because I couldn't get my arm, like I do a pretty wide like low back squat, and I couldn't get my arms up for that, and like benching and all the pressing was hurting. It flares up every now and then in the last several weeks, but it's definitely gotten tremendously better. I had really bad knee pain, and I thought I tore something, and they just said it was arthritis, and that's actually starting to feel way better too. I know I had a cortisone shot not too long ago in there because I had a big inflamed bursa as well, and then this one. I don't know if you can check it. This actually is kind of new. Like the pain really picked up more actually even just today. And I don't know, it feels like, I've never torn my meniscus, but that's just the only thing I can feel it. Because it doesn't feel like a muscle or bone or ligament or tendon. So I'm like, what is that? I don't know what is it, but there's some little pain inside my knee that's been bugging me since last AEW. Outside that, fine. I don't know if there's anything you can do too. Actually, I always have an ischial tuberosity problem on my right leg. It just healed as well. But, I don't even know what I do. I wrestle, I do whatever, then also the next day it flares up again where like, I mean, sore if I touch my butt, but like I can't, it feels like a straight hamstring, like I can't fire my hamstring, but it's coming from the tendon up there.
It's like really deep pain in the butt.
Yeah. The sit bone, yeah.
We're on here.
Yeah. Well, I can help you if we go anymore, it's like it's gonna pull on it, yeah.
Swole guy problems. Yeah, it's definitely a difference. Not that you're super flexible on the left.
No, I know, right?
So you gotta really warm up if you're gonna make some sweet chin music. So that feels tight there?
Yeah.
Have you done dry needling before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love dry needling.
For your hamstring?
I don't think I've ever done my hamstring, no.
Get really closely acquainted here.
Yeah, I know. Whenever I have that issue too much, I feel like you gotta get up with up in my area, sorry.
For sure. It's like, nice to meet you. Well, here we go. Dive right in.
Yeah, it's super sore right there.
Right there, huh? Quadratus femoris right there. So when I get you guys this big, I gotta do the warm up.
So what would cause that to flare up? Motion wise or?
Usually it's a small partial tear at some point that scars over.
But I'm saying like if I don't feel like if it's not bothering me too much, then I say I have a match. Now it is bothering me. Is there? Cause I never feel it. Like there's no acute moment where I'm like, ow. It just kind of the next day like, oh shit, it hurts now.
So anything you tear, your body doesn't replace with the exact tissue that was there before.
Okay.
So it lays down a different type of collagen, which is less flexible. And even lifting weights is like micro tears. You're replacing some of the connective tissue with other stuff. Typically what that means is that tissue just not as resilient or bouncy. So when you flex that muscle, so this is a stabilizer. When you flex it over and over again, it's gonna limit the mobility. So it attaches from the trochanter here to the sit bone. And what that's gonna do, it's gonna limit internal rotation and flexion. So typically once you've strained it once, it's just overuse. So take a little time off, gets better, get really busy, it starts to flare up a little bit, like right there.
Yeah.
No, that's kind of bumpy. And it's a tiny little muscle that connects between those two places.
That's always tiny little muscles that suck.
Yeah.
It's like the rotator cuff, those little muscles.
Because what'll happen is you'll stretch and roll your hamstrings and get your hamstrings worked on, and then it won't actually change that much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sucks too because of that. Like now when it's flared up, when I try to stretch my hamstrings, it's like I can't because I feel like it aggravates that by putting more of a stretch on it.
Yeah, all you feel is that spot right on the bottom now. I feel like it's in a different place now.
It feels like when you pull like when you do it this way, the stretch, it feels like it pulls down to like
more in the middle now.
Like the inside of my
compared to the first time, it's more in the middle.
Yeah. Well, like when you do this one, I feel like just a good stretch on my hamstring. Like this one, like they have hamstrings tight, but I just feel the stretch only in like the glute area.
Okay. So that feels like a normal stretch, and this one feels like pulling a little bit.
Yeah. That feels like it's pulling from there.
Yeah, right there. So you've been wrestling for what, like 12 years, 10 years?
15.
15. What got you into it?
It's all I ever wanted to do since I was 10 years old. I saw wrestling when I was 5. I loved it, and then age 10, I was like, yeah, I really want to do this. And it was just like the childhood dream type deal. And it was like, oh, you'll grow out of that, whatever. But then, through junior high and high school and so on, it's really all I ever wanted to do. So
that's dope. You just made it happen.
I guaranteed everyone that I'd be signed to WWE by the time I was 24. When I was 24, I was signed to WWE.
Boom.
But since then, I was released from them. I checked that box off though. But yeah, I mean, I've been hitting the grind, and I've become super successful in my field without having to ever be there. So that's a nice plus.
Beautiful. So who were your favorite wrestlers growing up then?
I was a kid, loved Macho and Warrior. Then it became like Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels, who's like my all-time favorite. And then the 3 I wanted to emulate as I got into high school, like in the ring. I called them the 3 Chris's. It was Chris Kanyon, Chris Benoit, and Chris Jericho.
How to raise this leg? Okay, now the other side. Is that more lower? Yeah, you're struggling with that one comparatively. I was joking. I think it was with Chris we were talking about, like, in the 80s, like, every wrestler was just like a caricature of a job.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, Sergeant Slaughter, Big Boss Man.
You did something else, but you're a wrestler, yeah.
Yeah, that was the motif. And it's interesting how the field has developed personas and personalities. Like you said, first we had Scarface was, what's his name? Scott Hall.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know.
Go left side up again. So we raise it up. Now the right side. Closer.
It felt easier.
Yeah. Gotta get a little bit closer here. Ooh, that was almost too close.
That's actually right where I feel it, right there now. Like where you were,
like right there.
when you were stretching it? Yeah.
Good. All right, raise it again. That one felt better?
Yeah. For sure.
That's the troublemaker. Right there. So that's the issue, and what I'm doing is I'm moving it upwards now. So if it's pulled down by the hamstring, now I'm moving it upwards so it has a better leverage point.
You basically shortened it.
Well, I'm moving the sit bone upwards to where it has a better pivot to pull with the hamstring.
Oh, gotcha.
Because what can happen is if your muscle is so strong and it's locked in here and it yanks on it, it can actually pull your sit bone downwards.
Oh.
So when it slides it downwards, now it doesn't have the length that it would normally go through.
Yeah,
and you can't contract the muscle from there.
Gotcha.
And unfortunately, there's no better way, or no real way to realign it other than getting real intimate like this. All right, try it one more time. There we go, good. The right side, yeah. That's more in your glute now?
What's that?
You feel that more in the middle of your glute now when you raise it?
Yeah.
As opposed to the hammy? Yep.
For sure, yeah. And it actually feels like I can like fire it a little bit more now. Like there's actual mind-muscle connection, contraction.
That's what bodybuilders know about. It actually doesn't feel too bad anymore there.
What muscle is that right there?
That one?
Is that gracilis or something?
That's gracilis. Man's got an anatomy degree over here.
I feel right.
And there's every muscle. I'll tell you the trick question they threw me my first day in corporate. They said, what's that muscle that lies underneath the quadriceps group, innervated by the femoral nerve that raises the suprapatellar bursa during extension of the knee?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I said too. The articularis genu. That's a new trick question for all your bodybuilding buddies. What are you working on today? Well, you know, the anconius and the articularis genu. It's articularis genu day. And just they're gonna blink at you like ding, 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 ding.
Right? I don't know.
Don't worry about it, guys. Got a big brain over here.
So that's obviously connected to it then, right?
Yep. So that's the muscle that's tight that would pull it downward.
So that's really the problem then?
Yeah, it probably was originally. And then when it pulls it down, then you don't have access to the right muscles, and
Gotcha.
the cycle continues.
So that's pulling like the ischial that pulls the sit bone down, that shuts off the hamstring, essentially.
Exactly.
That trainer.
So for me, like I have to do this one too because I'm leaning over people all day and I've torn both hamstrings. For me, med ball works really good here. Those hard ones. Instead of using like a foam roller, I'll just sit on it right there and just break that muscle up on, especially when I'm on the road.
Is there a beneficial stretch for that?
Not really.
I don't think so.
You kind of just get in there and break it up. Because anytime, I mean, you would have to like put your foot up on like a counter and then sit your hips down and then turn your hips slightly away. But you would have to break it up first because otherwise
you're going to be causing more of a problem.
And you're more likely to be limited at some of the other muscles on the inside too because we don't stretch them all that much. So the adductor magnus or even one of the hamstrings might stop you first so you don't get to that muscle. I'll even use like a Smith machine and just kind of stand over it and just kind of get it right back and forth with the bar.
Oh, I have done it before. Like where you like straddle it, your leg over it?
And just find all the sore spots and break them up.
Yeah.
Definitely that one right there.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's alive and well. I can feel it completely.
Yeah. So that's hamstring. Feel the difference?
Yeah.
Like there's no trigger points in there.
It's like, oh, it's tight, but that's
a trigger point, right?
Yeah,
feel the difference.
You know what's wrong there.
Yeah, exactly. Raise that again. Yeah, that's pretty good. So let's drop a couple needles in there then.
Didn't you just do dry needling and she like punctured your heart?
My heart? No, my lung?
Yeah, or
That's what it felt
something
like?
like that. Yeah, I never want her to do that to you again.
Yeah, no, I was trying to get
She
two
for sure
friends
punctured your
to try to
heart.
do it. Like it shouldn't be that hard.
Where was this?
Here.
I told her, I was like, you can
I mean,
practice
she's
on me.
awesome though, but
I was like, you can practice on me. I don't care. I've had it done. I'm not scared of it. I was like, yeah, just work the trigger points and blah, blah. But like, yeah, and then afterward, nothing, there was like a sharp pain. It felt, it felt like it came out of the front of me. I'm like, what the fuck was that? That wasn't normal. Like, all right, whatever. And then like I was laying down in the chair watching TV and all of a sudden like I could feel like bubbliness like in my lung. Like,
yeah, like gurgling.
I was like, what the fuck? And I was like freaking out. I was like, am I going to the hospital? I'm going to die? What's going on?
You heard about the Chargers player, Tyra Taylor?
No.
They were trying to do an intercostal injection before a game, and the doctor did it on the sideline and punctured his lung. Yeah,
Wow.
collapsed the lung. We generally don't do them in those areas for that reason. We don't go in the front of the neck or anything, you know.
And then tail sprain I had. I'm just funny that you said that.
Yeah. So there's a few different ones that they'll do. There's there's Prolozone where they'll inject like the Prolo and then inject O3, which is a little controversial. And then there's
What's that?
Like ozone air.
Really?
Yeah.
Inject that?
They inject it into the joint. So first they inject the inflammatory, which is the vitamins of the Prolo, and then they follow it up with O3. The theory being, I think, that the O3 breaks down in O2, which gets oxygen into the joint, which is hard to get. Because without blood, you can't get oxygen in there to heal. And then you'll see, the typical, what people call stem cells. Some are from your bone marrow, some are PRP, which is where they take your blood and they spin it and take the platelets out. And then, in other countries, they actually have embryonic stem cells, which they probably get from aborted fetal tissue, unless they clone it.
Yeah, that's what people I've met now every time.
Yeah, so it's usually Mexico, Panama, Colombia where you get those.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we still sort of have a ban, except for the president got like a variation of that.
Is that what he got? He got stem cells?
They were they're clonal cells, so they're derived from fetal cells to begin with, and then they can clone.
You're technically not supposed to do that in the States, right?
Right.
You're not supposed to manipulate them, right?
Right. It's a very very gray area. So basically, you're not supposed to have anything from anybody else's body biologically, essentially.
But then what are they doing now? Like my cousin just started doing stem cells at her med spa, and they are supposed to be placenta. So isn't that in essence of another?
There, if you look at any way a law is written, there's ways around it. So I have heard of some places in California
Oh man, I had them done to my knee like right after surgery in Colombia. It hurt, dude. That hurt.
Did you guys go to Medellin?
Bad, yeah. Medellin. It was so nice there. Everybody's so cute. All the girls are all pretty.
Were the bio accelerators the one?
Yes, bio accelerator. Yeah.
We were supposed to go in September, and then they closed the border down.
Like it goes up farther, and I can feel it more in the hamstring. Now this is gonna feel like the stiff one, huh?
Yeah, definitely better there. To me, it's like if you haven't experienced any of these issues, like how do you really know how to treat people and explain what's going on with them? So I figure out I'll destroy everything in my body, and then I'll know exactly what you guys are talking about.
Well, yeah, whenever I've had an injury, and if I've ever had somebody, work on me in whatever field, they're like, oh yeah, so-and-so had this before, I already dealt with this. It's like, there's this added comfort, like, oh cool, he's already fixed this before.
And for me, it's like, oh no, I have that. Bring that right knee up. Yeah, I've got a torn meniscus on the right leg, PCL left leg. Keep doing that. Yep. Stage 3 arthritis in the left hip, torn labrum right hip, 6 herniated discs, 5 compression fractures, broken tib, fib, ankle, torn both hamstrings, rotated.
So who works on you?
My other docs in my clinic. And luckily I've never had to have any surgeries, before, so got a lot of loose ligaments and torn up labrum and cartilage and stuff, so that's why I was like, let me go try this, especially I'm interested in the IV. Yeah. Because I have like a little autoimmune issue, so I'm hoping that'll help somewhat. And I actually used to live in Colombia. I lived in Bogota.
Oh, really?
So I worked with their Olympic team like 11 years ago.
How long do you live there for?
I was there for like almost about 10 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, everything's cheap there too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the food? Nice. Oh my gosh, the food was so cheap.
Yeah. I was like, what is this? I'm well, that's it. I was like, wow.
I went to this fancy freaking steakhouse and all this food, and it felt like we were spending $30 like combined for both of us.
I feel bad paying that.
It's like,
right? And you're not supposed to tip either.
Yeah, I know. I was like, please let me tip you.
No, it's considered offensive.
No, I'm like, what?
It is funny. One of the first foreign countries I went to was Korea. This pack of tuna, and then I couldn't find my can opener. So I call and this guy comes up with the can opener. And he comes with the can opener and he opens it for me. I'm like, oh, awesome. And I feel bad. So I'm like, oh, here. And I go to get one and he like freaked out. He's like, no, please, no.
That's like offensive. It's offensive in a lot of countries. Here it's like anybody shows up and they're like, Home Alone 2, and he gives him the gum. He sticks his hand out. He's like, here you go.
Seriously.
There's more where that came from, Winter Fresh.
I got you.
Oh, I know, like when you leave an airport too, like everyone's always trying to get you for something.
Yeah.
Hey, I got you.
Like Cancun, Cabo, all those places.
Yeah, especially all the touristy spots.
Yeah, because they know all the gringos are coming through with American dollars. Pass them out.
I'm literally holding my breath. Okay. I'm okay.
What?
Like, what's happening
okay,
right
so. Woo. The spicy one.
Is that the popular whatever?
There it is, Poplinius. Boom. Look at him go. Mr. Cage knows all the muscles. Don't even try him.
Because he's like injured every single time. That's why.
If it was Jeopardy anatomy categories, he's gonna crush you guys.
Seriously, man. I couldn't get him to stop saying supination.
I told myself.
Oh my
listen,
God,
I'm trying to get my supination back.
Supination.
I'm like, look, I can't supinate all the way.
These aren't spirit fingers. These are spirit fingers. I think super relaxed thoughts. There we go.
You know what too? I was like, oh, I know what's gonna happen here.
You felt that in the middle?
Yeah.
Let's clear his neck while we're up here. Right there?
Yeah.
It feels like it's that one. Okay, we're gonna bring it right there.
Jeez.
Woo! There we go.
Well, that's crazy. That went away, huh?
Yep.
Just like that.
Singular joint fixations. That one's more there. Maybe a little bit there too. So bring it there.
Oh my God.
I got pops before you even do anything too. You just put it in position and it's like, cat wants to go.
Who's ready to roll?
Oh. Well, I've never noticed it. Like, there's like a point tenderness spot and then how it like goes away after you pop it. Wow.
You didn't pop his knee. I'm so jealous.
John's so obsessed with that.
Yeah, we're really focusing on the
That didn't feel good.
yeah, the knee popping.
Oh no, right. That's what you're doing. I said that didn't feel good.
You know, like I feel like it would need like because it's been through so much, it needs a good stretch. You know, like that. Like I need.
We'll see. I'll fill it out. Like I can usually tell by the feel of the tissue.
You're gonna see how tight it is. I mean, like whatever you put in there is like impossible.
Yeah, all these like little like joint areas too is what like I can deal with someone like just digging into like a meaty muscle that hurts. Like I'm used to that. That's fine. But you work on these like little crevice spots and they're not fun at all.
No, they're way different. Well, think about that. The belly of the muscle attaches to the tendon attaches to the bone.
Yeah.
So, if your muscles are really pulling on it, the bone actually can get irritated. So it turns into either tendinosis or even...
Well, I was thinking like the little bones per fracture, where like basically pulls off.
That's exactly what happens. So your body responds to that by making it stronger. And the way that it does that, it's put more calcium there.
Yeah, that's why I have this like little extra growth of bone right there on the ceremony.
100%.
So what is that right there that hurts?
Right there?
Yeah.
That's the VMO tie-in.
Because it doesn't feel like anything. Like, it doesn't feel like a muscle, a joint, or it just feels like a spot that hurts when you touch it.
Yeah, it's connective tissue. It's basically where the muscle and the tendon kind of blend in with the bone and the joint tissue. So if you look at a cadaver, the MCL and LCL really aren't so distinct. They blend with all this ligamentous tissue all around. ACL, PCL, very distinct, but the stuff on the outside and inside. When you look at a chart, it looks like they're so, by themselves.
Yeah.
But really, there's a lot of webbing of all kinds of stuff. Same thing with like your elbow, like the UCL. That's still sore?
No, it does feel a lot less tender. That's where I was feeling the pain. I was like right there, like almost like right underneath the patella, like.
Is that VMO tie-in?
So I did a move. I did a move. Cody really, I hip tossed him, and I put my knee out so I could backbreaker. This is what like made it feel. So when I hip tossed him, and I go down like this. We landed right here, but he landed like lower instead of higher up. So when he landed right here, like when he went like that, spot, and I didn't feel anything when it happened, but then I was like, oh, what the heck's on my knee? So I don't know if that's like I'm only showing that motion because would that have like caused some sort of irritant to it, or?
Yeah, it can, but what it looks like to me is that VMO tie-in for the tissue more so than anything, because it's not just a straight medial motion. Like if my foot was blocked here and then he went that way, because there's a little bit of foot roll with it too, which actually puts more strain on vastus medialis and the tendon that ties in here. Where if just the knee went, then it's MCL. But that's going to be more like there.
Yeah, that didn't happen. Yeah, it's not there at all.
So if you imagine the motion that way, this is going to be your line of tension.
Gotcha.
Your ligaments should only really protect you when your muscles don't. So anytime you get hit in the leg, your quad, the cage, the calves, the hamstring should protect the knee. When your ligaments really have to work is when you're not expecting it. You land funny, dog runs in your leg, slip. Yeah, and that's when we see how strong your ligaments really are,
So when you slip on something, you tear something, does that mean it's already kind of on its way out anyways?
Likely. But also, if you're somebody who's got big muscles, you're reliant on your muscles to protect your joints all the time. And when you get in a position where you don't, A, you weigh more than a regular person, and then B, you've been relying on your muscles to protect your joint a lot, and then they can't. So now that ligament, and some people will even theorize that the ligaments in really muscular people, depending on the type of activity they're doing, are not as strong as they should be given their activity level, because their muscles do so much more work.
Gotcha.
So like a gymnast, like a young gymnast, like a kid, their ligaments are really strong. They'll usually have avulsion fractures. So the ligaments are stronger than their bones, so they'll pull the bone up and away. And some of it may just be genetics. Some people tear muscles. Their ligaments or tendons are stronger. Some people's bones are stronger. Or you put the exact same force on two different people. One has nothing happen. One tears a ligament. One tears a muscle. Obviously, you'd rather have a muscle or a tendon.
Oh, sure, of course.
Than a ligament. But we don't get to choose. Physics chooses for us, and genetics chooses for us. Pretty good there. He's got a spot right there, though.
Ooh, yeah, we found that.
There's a trigger point. So what's the year been like, wrestling without fans or limited fans? Has that been a lot different for you?
Oh, tremendously. It's too, also, like, I was supposed to make this surprise debut for AEW last year, but I was still contracted with Impact Wrestling. And then I get pulled off the show, like 2 hours before the show starts, because I wasn't going over, and I was their current world champion. So they were like, "Oh, you can't be on there and lose." But it was a battle royal, so I wasn't getting beat. I just wasn't winning the match.
Right.
And then like, they were gonna put me over, and whatever. It was gonna be great, and like nobody knew, and it's so hard to keep stuff like completely under wraps in the wrestling world.
Sure.
So the sold out MGM, Grand Arena. I'm like, it's gonna be a huge pop, and then nothing. I was so devastated. So then I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Contract runs out. I signed a deal with AEW. I'll make my big surprise debut. Oh, I tear my bicep. I'm like, no. Luckily, they still signed me, which was awesome. Great company kept me on. Like, because anywhere else would more likely have been like, all right, well, we're gonna rescind your contract. Hit us up in a few months. Maybe it's still there. So then I'm like, okay, whatever. Double nothing will happen. I'll make my surprise return there. It'll be good. Then the pandemic, and I'm like, we got a few months. It'll be okay by the time then. And then so finally I make my surprise debut, and then in front of absolutely nobody. I'm like, not quite the same reaction. Everybody's like, oh, but when crowds come back, you'll get your pop. You'll get, like, yeah, but it's not that surprise reaction. There's one thing.
I need it.
Yeah, there's one thing people just cheer for you because you're coming out, but they don't expect you to come out, and it's like this big surprise. Like that's like once in a not necessarily lifetime, but very rarely. Yeah.
That's one thing about wrestling is the fans vote with their energy and with their dollar.
Sure. That was something Melissa was saying earlier. It kind of sucks. It also kind of helps people get over, get pushed or whatever. But now with no crowd, there's not really.
They might not think that person is something in their mind, but then the crowd is like, no, that's.
Totally. So instead of like, hey, we should switch this direction, we have no idea because nothing's happening. So.
Yeah, without that feedback, it's just somebody's imagination or whatever they think is best.
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt as much too when I touch it now, though. Like trying to find the spot.
Did you guys meet at Impact?
No, Lucha Underground.
Okay.
Forever ago too.
You got real close.
Right? I know.
I have to get out of the room because I hold my breath. I'm gonna move back.
Woo! You're like, let me clear that. I'm like, oh. You should make it so next time I go, yeah, it's fine. It feels great.
Everything's great. Everything's fine.
It's healed 100%.
You watched the Taker's leg going away thing?
I did not. This is Survivor Series. I was flying back then.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch it either, but I found the clip of the send-off. It was interesting. So, one of the debates going on right now, the entire wrestling world is, calling the Taker one of the all-time GOATs.
Yeah. No.
And that's the argument.
Like, yeah, he's awesome. He lasts forever. He's a great character. He's definitely one of the best, like, big guys, especially for how well he can work. Because a lot of, like, big guys when it comes to tall guys, usually aren't very good either. They're very limited in their athleticism, range of motion, and just overall wrestling performance. So he's amazing. He's one of the best, but GOAT? No.
Right.
No. I mean, he's great as far as like his longevity and how long he's lasted, money he's made.
Character and like going through the 90s, all the variations of the Taker were very. It was like gothic, and then he was like emo, and then he was Dead Man.
American Badass.
Yeah, then he was then he was Toby Keith.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting character development, but always the same character, which is interesting because a lot of people don't get that, right? You're either Cactus Jack or Mankind or
He was when he first started. When he was WCW in the territories too. Before he went to WWF, he was just being Mark Galloway.
Oh, okay.
That was his first deal, and he was just nothing. Actually, one of his original matches too. Oh my gosh, he was doing so much stuff. Like
a wrestling historian on top of this.
I mean, I know my stuff. I know wrestling almost as well as the anatomy.
Because I know a lot of people, they're like, oh yeah, somebody found me and I was working out and I was like, oh, I'm pretty good at this, or I play football and then I learned how to spear somebody and that's it on there. So a lot of those guys obviously don't know the history of the
no, of course not. And which means too, they usually don't appreciate it or obviously love it the same. I think all the best wrestlers are super fans, and that's what made them want to be it.
That makes sense. Like, all right.
I mean, no matter what, I'm gonna say it's good now. But no, it does actually. It does. It feels like I just did a set of squats, but it does fire and not hurt like it did before.
Less ball.
Oh my gosh! Yes. Well, yeah, you didn't feel it, but I feel like that too. That happens too. So it's like, I don't know, it doesn't really feel bad. Okay, well here, how about this? You're like, oh no, it feels good now.
What's up? What's going on?
It's a little chubby pug.
What's going on? But comparatively, see the difference there?
Yeah, which is crazy. Like
Sartorius on that side.
That is nuts.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you can make any spot hurt. You know what I mean? But like when obviously when something's wrong, there's a big.
Quad Sartorius. Not a huge difference on this side. But watch if I do this one. So we go quad, and then I go sartorius there.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
That one's talkative. And so that one goes all the way up to there.
Oh, yeah.
Longest muscle in the body.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There we
go. You taught me something.
New trivia question, sartorius. Yeah, right there. Yeah, still like there. I'll get you sweating a little bit again.
Yeah.
And then it'll fade out.
So I get there, he is like coming out of it more, and he's totally swatting them, not hurting them, but just like, oh, get away. There's like 3 nurses, right? And they can't. And so then for some reason, whenever he's in pain, like really, really bad pain, he starts grabbing his crotch. And so he's like doing this, but then like I'm like, but he's like sticking his hand in his pants, and I'm like, he's gonna whip it out right now. In front of everybody. And then they're just like, okay, all right, well, I'll come back later. And they start leaving. I'm like, oh my gosh, babe, keep your penis in your pants.
Hey man, I'll blame you. Like I was doing tricep push downs, and I put my back to it, didn't plug it all the way, so that thing came down and just busted open. So they had to staple me, right? So they go in and they're like, we'll do a topical. I'm like, I kind of want to see what it feels like.
Insanity.
So I didn't do the topical, so they're just stapling my scalp. Like,
you should have been a wrestler. You like that too. You're the chiropractor wrestler. That could be your gimmick. He comes in with that hammer. I got you. Total heel. Bring that thing in. Chiropractor. That's his gimmick done.
I mean, why
It'll be
not?
like we're in the 80s again. Wrestling.
Let's see what the range looks like. It's pretty good, man. And the left side?
That one's worse, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They're both just a little bit jammed, but not bad.
Yeah, this one's not so much better. This one's still like, I can feel it. Like this one too, I can feel a little bit of pain. This one I can tell like my strength is like, if I try to press right there.
So it's blocked at the back of the joint?
Yeah.
Okay. Could use the, let it drop straight down. There we go. Okay, there we go. We'll let it drop. Good. Try that upside again. Feel the same or feel better there?
I mean, I feel like it went up a little easier. I still feel like the blockage in the back, but I feel like it wasn't as wasn't as hard to get it up.
Okay, try that side again.
Yeah, that improved a little bit too. I mean, I don't know if it looks like it does, but it feels
Yeah, it looks better.
not as restricted. So what is that doing?
I'm creating some downward space for the humerus to rotate.
So pushing the sit bone up, you're pushing the humerus down.
Yeah. So if it's jammed up in the socket, you're not gonna be able to turn all the way in the socket.
Gotcha. Because instead of it being rotated inside, it's just stuck right there.
Yeah, it's running into the back of the joint, which, lifting heavy weights shoves the bone in there and falling on your arms and all.
Yeah. Wow.
That was the spot.
That's crazy. Now the right one feels like it's like the tighter one.
Yes.
That was nuts.
So now it should feel like there's some muscle tightness limiting in like
The
pec.
But that's now like there's not the pain there. Like I can feel like my strength is the same no matter what. Whereas before I could keep my arm up, I was like, oh, it's like I'm gonna come over, I'm about to tap out.
I know exactly
What
where
does it
that's
feel like when he's doing that?
Nothing.
I'm not trained.
No.
This is what people are always scared of. I'm like, no, that hurts way less than my fingers.
It almost feels like he's not even doing anything. Like especially like I can feel it, but I feel like the sound of it, however it looks on camera, I feel like it's just like pretend. Like, it's just like
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't look like he's doing like much. Like he's kind of.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
That's crazy. Wow.
So simple.
That's so cool.
Turn. Just
So
have to-
what are you hammering then? Like what spot? I don't know.
So here's your chromium, right? So this is part of your scapula. Your humerus is right there. So we're just getting a little downward motion to allow the rotation. If you look at me, my left one's jammed right now. So see my right one goes to there.
Yeah.
So then, I can't get past there. So then my lats like working harder, so I feel it.
Yeah. That's what lat was so tight, right? Because my lat's doing all the.
So then they'll release my lat, and that feels better for a second, but I still can't go any further.
Yeah.
So it really just makes my neck feel better.
So there's nothing wrong with the AC joint then? Obviously then.
Well,
Maybe.
I think there is, but is that why your motion is limited?
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
But if I feel pain from that, that's probably also coming from that.
Yeah. Yes, it's right there.
Yeah.
And if I get a little bit, try again. That's pretty good.
Yeah. The fact, not only the range, but the fact
It's
that
like even more than the
the pain.
Okay.
Because like now I can feel the difference now. Like this one felt great compared to this one.
Now your brain knows the difference.
No, it's like, oh wait, hold on, this sucks too.
Yeah. So once the joint's free, then if you stretch your pec or your lat, you can actually get that motion to stay there, right?
Yeah, because now it's not guarding it where you can't.
Not blocked at the joint, exactly. Forget a little poster here. Check it again.
As long as there's still, I still feel more tightness to that one than the left one, but.
There it is. Feel that?
Yeah. That's basically the same spot as the left, right?
Yeah. We're all different, but you're using the same motion on both arms.
I'd say, hey, at least I'm consistent.
Yeah. It's actually more of a problem if your body's the opposites. It means you have real kinetic chain problems.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It's crazy how much of a, like.
So when you find the right spot, you can tell.
It's funny though, because like, I mean, you might go back farther, but the camera can't feel like how I feel.
Right.
Like that blocking just all of a sudden being magically gone is crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah, I feel the right muscles working, so I can actually feel it through the tool, and you can probably feel it.
I was gonna say too, how can you feel it through the tool?
Just a lot of reps, man.
Wow.
Which is funny because I used to make fun of people. I remember when I first started doing soft tissue, one of the guys that was like kind of a pseudo mentor to me, he was like, "Can you feel it yet?" And I was like, "Feel what?" He's like, "Can you feel the muscle release?" I was like, "You can't feel anything." Just super arrogant.
Because obviously I can feel it because I can tell how sore it is. I can feel the tension, but I'm like, how can you feel through the tool?
I don't even know how to describe it. The tissue feels different. It feels, I don't know. I don't have the words to really explain it. I'm gonna have to figure that out one day. Because that's what's hard to teach students.
So much more. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
There we go. So we did some dance moves.
Right?
And pull the elbow back. Pull. Yep, solid there. Okay.
Oh, I done this one before. That's what I showed you, remember?
Pull. That was me, I think. Too strong. Wrestler and chiropractor.
I know, because I heard the pop up like, that wasn't me.
No, that was me. Not me. All right, man. Tell them where you can find you, social medias.
You can find me on Briancage on Instagram, Briancage on Facebook, Mr. GMSI_BCage on Twitter. That one's a lot more complicated because I thought it was cool, and it's not. But I got a blue check mark, so if I change it, it's gone.
I know.
So you got merch?
ProsandTees.com/Briancage, and then AEW shop has all the Briancage AEW official merchandise as well.